Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey Success Stories podcast. I'm Jennifer Sheffel, your host today, and I am joined with Michael Phillips. With Weldon Phillips International, he is the CEO and founder. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, Jennifer.
So today we will be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, successes along the way, but also some of those challenges that we encounter as business owners. And of course, he's going to share a peek of really what is it like to build and operate a business. So if this is your first time to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe because we want you to get notifications for in the future when we have conversations like this that drop, because they're always very interesting and all of them are a little different because everybody's journey is a little bit different. So Michael, welcome to the show and thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of background of you and of course the business and what got you to where you're at today.
All right. Well, probably like so many folks that are tuning in, I have a business degree, accounting background. But unlike probably many, I also went on to law school and then got a master's of international business. In my career, I've been CFO of 3 companies and also VP of business development. Started this consulting company with my father-in-law, Tom Weldon. He's the Weldon and Weldon Phillips, obviously, in 2003. And it's interesting because our whole philosophy was we've earned our experience in the trenches, just like our clients. We've all been very successful, everybody that's associated with our business. And the way we run the business is we treat our clients the way we wish they would have treated us when we were in shoes like you. And so we don't upsell, we variabilize our cost. All of our people are senior people. And we take great pride in making a difference and helping keep companies from going down that road of, quite frankly, failure. I mean, look how many businesses just, people listening to this podcast that during your career have gone out of business. I mean,
Too many.
From Sears, Lehman Brothers to a company I almost took a job with, Kodak.
Yeah. It is interesting because there's too many small to medium-sized businesses that are not succeeding. They're failing. And so one of the big things that Action Coach always says is if there's a business in our region that fails, we should have been there. So I love that you're taking this on because as you also explore into the M&A world, so I want to hear more about this and tell everybody about some of the business like services and products that you provide.
Yeah, we focus on what we did when we were in your shoes, quite frankly, as executives of the companies that we work for. And we break our main services down into 4 main groups: CFO services, which was interim and fractional CFO services.
Yeah.
We have projects that last anywhere from 2 months to 2 years. Then we do a lot of business development work. And our business development work, it's primarily M&A support, although early on, we did go out and find new business for a big client, a Fortune, well, actually, it was a Dow component. I had them for 8 years. My father-in-law was a genius in business development. And then we also do process improvements. A big part of that has been faster month-end closes. Everywhere I was a CFO, I had a 1-day close, which, people thought, boy, this got to watch out for this guy. But we've helped 31 companies. I personally have managed all those, improve their month-end close time using the same system and the same people. And then finally, we do a fair amount of coaching and mentoring. And, it's helping high potentials reach their potential faster. And I've got a good reputation for being a strong mentor and occasionally a tormentor, because that's sometimes what it takes in order to get a person over that hump. So those are the four main, I'll call it food groups, that we try to have everybody, consume on a at least yearly basis. So, but a big part of what we do is, we just have basic fundamentals. We don't believe in financial engineering. We don't believe in moving the shells in order to make the business look better. I think you have to get the numbers right, and that doesn't mean just getting the audit to work and be correct, but also have the information so it's meaningful to the business. Because you have to be able to find what's wrong in order to fix it. And like I said, if people are really sensitive, it's probably not the best way to go. But it is the best way to make long-lasting improvements that'll hopefully help define your next decade.
Yeah. So, share with us maybe one of the most interesting jobs that you've ever actually conducted, because you have this nice plethora of things that you've done. And of course, with having the accounting background as well as the experience, but also as being an attorney, like fill us in on what's maybe one of the most interesting jobs you've ever done.
Oh, wow. Well, there's several. The one that really jumps out, though, and in large part because it was such a challenge, I was engaged to go in as the interim CFO by an Australian company to go work in Botswana, Africa. Now, if you folks are like me, I had to grab a map because I did not know where Botswana was. For those that are geographically challenged like me, it's the country directly above South Africa, which is at the bottom of the continent of Africa. And Botswana it's interesting. It's the least populated country in Africa. And so we're in a remote country, and we're in a remote part of a remote country. Yeah, it sounds like a double negative almost. But what's interesting is we could not find anyone. And this is a gold mine that we're trying to open, and it's very meaningful. The government has taken a tremendous interest in this. They want to see this get off the ground. And so what we did is when we couldn't find people, we just changed our approach. We interviewed for intelligence and will they fit in on the team. And it is, quite frankly, the last time I actually taught people how to use an accounts payable system, which is, probably I'm not the best person to hire for that, nor the best use of their resources for
No.
that. But what's fascinating is with a totally new team, we did have one accountant, somebody that was degree. We were able to, by the time they had the first gold pour, they were closing the month in 3 days.
Hmm.
And for those, it's one of those things in business that I always say speed kills. Most people think, driving too fast or something along those lines. But in business, lack of speed kills. And having a slow month end close, I've never seen a company do really well that has a slow month end close. And everyone that has a fast month end close, I've always seen do well. And so we ended up making some big changes there. They got off the ground, and the beauty of it was they ended up selling the company a few years later for 2.5 times what it was trading for on the
Nice.
Australian Stock Exchange. So it was a win-win-win. I mean, I spent 6 months there, and the day-to-day challenges were head scratchers. You had no idea how you were going to get from point A to point B, but through a lot of people think it's magic, that you do. It's like a card trick. There's no magic. It's
Yeah.
behind the scenes, it's shoulder to the wheel, pushing and grinding, digging into a level of details that, quite frankly, I think most people either don't want to do or don't know are there. And that's one of the things that I would say everybody that's associated with our team has that ability to do that. That's one of the real differentiators. And it makes a big difference. I mean, if you look at like a marathon or something, somebody who wins the race really doesn't win by that much considering how long they've been out there running.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between winning and not doing so well, not getting a medal, a lot of times is about what, a minute?
Yeah. It's not
When you're
much.
running for over, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, in my case, it was 3 long ago, but anyway.
Yeah, I did my half marathon in 2 and a quarter, I think is what it was, but I hit that wall and it was all she wrote right at
Yeah.
mile 13. So, it's interesting as far as you sharing this because I would love for our listeners to hear more about your team
Okay.
because it's very individualized and customized depending upon the need. So I would like for you to share more.
Yeah, we're a small team. I mean, if you count everyone who's associated, okay, they're not employees, but associated, they're senior executives, many who are retired but don't want to retire. A lot of them still have tremendous game. Most of the people I have either worked with or have known, in some cases, 25, 30 years. And so they're a proven commodity in my eyes and do a great job. I mean, we had one where we were brought in, I was project manager of a carve out, and it was a 7 country deal. And
Mm,
so one of the deal killers was in Europe, they were not willing to use the existing system going forward. And so we had to put a new system in. And
wow.
this is one of the beauties of being a Thunderbird and also working internationally a lot. You have
Yeah.
contacts, not everywhere, but a lot of places. And so we were able to bring in a guy to do the system implementation. And in 6 weeks, we put in a new system in 4 countries, and it worked. And the deal closed, and everybody was happy. We all got our bonuses, and I got this nice sweater.
That is awesome. That is one thing that you didn't share when you were introducing yourself about being a Thunderbird. Tell us more.
Well, Thunderbirds, it's an international business school, and you get a master's of international business there. Some people just call it an MBA international. And it was one of the most interesting environments I've ever been in. At the time when I was a student, half the student body was from outside the US. And then the other half was from all over the US. I mean, first person I ever met from Wyoming was at Thunderbird. And the professors were very much into teaching. Yes, they did write some books and do things like that, but they were teachers, real professors that taught, and they were exceptional. Uh, I had to play Gorbachev arguing against George Bush regarding what they call it, the Strategic Defense Initiative,
Hmm.
the missile program, and all that. And this is in front of 250 people. And so, yeah, it worked out really well for at least our team and all that. But it worked out better for the U.S. in reality because, Soviet Union closed. And of
Right.
course, now it's
Yeah.
causing problems elsewhere, but yeah, that's different news.
So, one of the things that you've highlighted a couple times is the international travel that you've done in the different countries. So, share with us what's the most unique place you've ever been, whether it's personal or business, or maybe one of both.
The most unique, I think, probably has to be Turkey. You have the European side, which I was there, and then you have the Asian side, which I went there. And
Mm,
every country has its differences within its own border. I mean, look at our
yeah.
U.S. Tremendous
Yes.
differences from east to west and in between.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular case, it was more drastic than what one would ever expect. I mean, Istanbul's a very international city.
Yeah,
You
it is.
go much farther east, it is very, very different. And I just found it interesting. I mean, the people were great. I'm not sure what we ate over there, but you try anything, um,
Yeah,
and if it's not so good, you move it around your plate and are always very respectful.
that's awesome. I love that. So, thinking about your business, where do you see it 5 years from now? Like you've arrived, what does it look like?
Well, I think in many ways it's going to look the same. It's going to be small.
Hmm.
It's going to be focused on a core group of things that we've done in our career and succeeded on that are based on fundamentals. But the fundamentals that we look at are things that not only we've learned in our career, but also there's a lot of research to support this. And one of the things that I talk to with various clients is there's a really it's kind of an old study now. It was fairly recent, but by Bain and Company. It was
Yes.
published in Harvard Business Review, like 2010, 2012. And what they did is they interviewed 760 CEOs of billion-dollar companies. And what they found was 95% said what drives value the most is being able to make quality decisions faster than your competition. And so we try to really help with decision quality, speed. Okay, remember the faster close?
Yeah,
It's a reason for that, other than just
absolutely.
having the finance team do it faster. And then what's the yield of those decisions? And again, the point is, and I'll circle back to it, to keep companies from going down the road of failure. If they realize this and actually invest in it, and again, it's really important to have your financials so they're meaningful. I mean, I walk into almost any business and they do allocated expenses, okay? And it is crazy how they do it. They do it to balance things out, not to actually charge expenses where they belong.
Spread it like peanut butter.
And the problem is, if you have a problem division and you sugarcoat it,
Mhm.
you're not focused on what is really the problem.
Yes.
And you know, it's kind of like the sports psychologist in Ted Lasso. The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. And we have to get clients to understand that. But if you're going to
Mhm.
make the long lasting improvements that you have to make, this is what you have to do. And, it's not just my opinion, it's people that actually have gone out and done real research. It's kind of nice that it matches up with some of the experiences I've had. But, and so we really encourage folks to seize that. And whether it's with us or someone else, but folks that have an understanding of what you're trying to do and how you're trying to get there.
Yeah, I have done activity-based accounting so many times to try and really show what is each department really costing me instead of just spreading it across like peanut butter. So, very well said. And it would drive us crazy because you can't make decisions. So, even though you're asked to. So, what do you think is your number one challenge that you're going to see over the next 5 years as a business owner and really delivering the services that you want to deliver?
Oh, it's always, I mean, despite being someone who was a VP of business development in his career, it's always bringing in new clients.
Mm,
It always is. It's not the work. The work is in our wheelhouse. We've always had good success. Some more than others, because not everything's cookie cutter. But it's one of those where thank God for word of mouth, because I
mm,
wish, it was my brilliant business development skills that brought in clients. And it's so rarely it's almost always, oh, hey, I heard you help so and so. I mean, on the M&A deal, this is the fourth one that a person that we were brought in to help years ago has recommended us for. And we've done 51. If you add up all the money involved, I think we've assisted on approximately 3 billion of activity. And of course, most of them are pretty small. I
yeah,
mean, every once in a while you get a, 800, $900 million.
yeah. So if word of mouth were to dry up, Not that it's going to, because it's always the number one epicenter of lead generation. What do you think is that close second as far as lead generation?
I think being active in various types of organizations. I'm a huge, huge fan of FEI, Financial Executives International, and if you're a finance executive, I highly recommend. It has been the best organization I've ever been part of.
Hmm.
I've been on the board a long time. I was president of it, and you just make so many great contacts and develop these professional friendships. And a lot of, I think, business is based on who do you have confidence in that
Oh,
if you bring them in, they're going to do a good job. And it's one of those things. My personal experience as an executive in having, we had four incredibly large consulting firms come in. If I mentioned them, the audience would know each one. And what was really disappointing, it wasn't my decision to bring them in, by the way. What was really disappointing was if you fast forward 12 to 18 months, they actually destroyed value.
mm,
And again, when I think about what's the genesis of us starting this, we are an alternative to what smart, you know, well-educated people come in and tell you how to run your business, even though you've been doing it a long time, and then they're gone. And we come in as people that have been in your shoes.
mm-hmm.
We're fortunate that we do have a very successful track record, all of us, of turning around struggling businesses. And then we have an approach that we think works very well. And largely because we just do what we wish someone else would have,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But that's kind of like, or if you want to call it guiding light.
Yeah. So I would love to expand on this as far as what we wished others would have done for us as we've been in the trenches and going through this journey of business ownership. So expand on that a little bit.
Well, I think for anyone out there looking to start their own business, I think there's three key things. I think there's an element of courage
Hmm.
and confidence that you have to have.
Yeah.
I'm, I would hope that that confidence is coming from previous successes. The courage is, and particularly in the field I'm in, finance people don't always have the best ambiguity tolerance. And and with what we do, I always have 6 months of work lined up. But after that, I don't know where the next client's coming from. But what's interesting, 6 months later, I have 6 months work lined up. And it just seems to be naturally filling
Mm.
and repeating. Um, it's hard to have confidence with that for
Yeah.
most people. And you have to swallow hard and say, this is, hey, and one of those things that, I grew up poor. So I feel like I'm playing with house money anyway. So at this point, and have been blessed.
I love that house money. I've not heard that, but truly, money is abundant. There's more than enough to go around, and it's all about that mindset and how are you going to approach it. At one point, somebody had said, think of money coming your way as thank you notes. Because as you collect more and as you get more, it's because you're creating value and people are thanking you. And I always liked hearing that. I don't know. It's just a really cool way of looking at it as far
Yeah.
as money. Yeah.
What is a way of keeping score? I'm an accountant and used to play sports. So, we want to do well. I don't really view what I do as work per se. I view it kind of as, and certainly a lot more than a hobby. It's a kind of
Oh,
a competitive sport. I still want to get paid for it, because if you ever do any work for someone and don't charge anything, there's a tendency that's the value that they put on it.
Yes. Yep.
I
Absolutely.
will share that for anybody doing uh, pro bono work, let's say.
Yeah. They're going to always expect it. So, ready for some rapid fire questions?
Fire away. I'm not sure you'll get a rapid fire answer or a short one from me, but have a
All
Jennifer.
right. What is the key to success for you?
I think flexibility. I mean, I highlighted,
Yeah.
courage and confidence, but flexibility is really important. I mean, we started doing business development, like going out and getting new projects for
Hmm.
a Fortune or a Dow component company. And then having the background that I have,
Hmm.
projects came in that were different than what we were working on and
Yeah.
decided to be flexible, take that on. And one thing led to another. And then the M&A work started to flourish because there's something about if you have a legal background and a finance background. I always love it in negotiations because when you're with finance people, you talk law. When you're with attorneys, you talk finance. It kind of gives you that little bit of a natural edge. Um, and it is a very competitive environment because in some cases you're dealing with some of the sharpest people that you bump into in business.
Absolutely. Completely agree. So, what is your one piece of advice? You kind of touched on this for other business owners.
Yeah, one thing I learned kind of the hard way is every day spend 8 hours minimum doing one of two things: billing or business development. Because when you run your own business, you can wear 12 different hats. You can be doing a
Minimal.
tax return, you can be doing God knows what, cleaning
Yeah.
your office. Not that you don't want to have a clean office, you want to have a clean office, but the point is focus on what drives the business because that's what you're going to tell your clients.
Hmm.
It's really important to follow your own advice. So 8 hours billing or business development every day. Well, take the weekend off, I guess. But
I'll allow that just this one time. All right. So, what is a book that you are reading right now?
I'm reading Last Call for Bud Light. It's actually a very good business book. So it's written by Anson Friedrich and highly recommend it.
Yeah, tell us more.
Well, I recommend it so much that I contacted Anson. He's from the Cincinnati area, and he's going to speak at the FEI event in September. It's actually September 25th. And everyone who attends is going to get a copy of his book. And so I think our structure will be a fireside chat. So I not only am reading the book, I'm reading the book and highlighting because I'll be trying to do what you do, Jennifer, and
Yeah.
and ask a bunch of great questions.
I love that. I can't wait for this event. It's going to be so much fun and you're going to have a blast with it.
They are a lot of fun. I do enjoy it, but it is uh, quite a bit of work to actually prepare. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so this is kind of a fun question. Are you
Okay.
ready? All right. If you had a little bit of magic dust that you could choose to sprinkle on one spot in the business, what would it be?
Magic dust. Oh, it has to be business development. Just
Mm,
so that when you go in and you explain what we can do, that people connect the dots and actually can apply it because there's so many companies we can help. We'll go in and talk to, and you can really help. And when I say help, I don't mean just make things better, but I'm talking make things better and cover what our costs are a number of times.
mhm.
I mean, one of the things on M&A deals where we're brought in, we end up doing things that cover our costs sometimes 4 or 5 times over. And, that's a good feeling. And talk about customers or clients that don't mind paying the bill. Oh, they can't write that check fast enough. So that would be the magic dust for having clients understand and apply what we do and the difference we can make.
I love that. So before we get to the very final question today, share with our audience how they can follow you, learn more, and contact you.
Okay, well, I'm Michael Phillips. Most of my friends call me Mike, and I hope many of you will. I can be reached at weldonphillips.com, or that's our website. And then I'm old school. You can call me directly. I actually answer the phone, and if I can't get to it, I get back to you as soon as possible. And my phone number is 513-335-0982. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can message me there. I think we have, I don't know, 6,500 followers or something like that. Decent, but not huge.
Yeah. And that's how we met, was through LinkedIn. So I can totally say he will get back to you. So reach out and take advantage of it. All right. So our final question for today.
Okay.
What is most inspiring to you today?
I just had first grandchild and working because you work for yourself, you work for your family, obviously. And ideally, it's good to have inspiration to work for your country
Mm.
and make it so that for that generation, they're going to have the opportunities that we have. And to be able to somehow, in a small way, contribute to that.
Mhm.
And others, not just my grandchild, but other young kids coming into the world, that they have the opportunities that I have. So, and we are lucky to be here. Well, that is one thing I have learned in working on every continent except Antarctica. I don't care how one got here. We are so incredibly lucky.
Yes,
It's,
we
I
are.
mean, I hate to sound like, although I'd like to sound like Warren Buffett, we've won the lottery. The simple fact that we're in this country.
Completely agree. Spread the world with kindness and you'll get it back in twofold, but you just have to really protect for our future because there are future deciders. And yeah, I love our younger generation. So, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story and more about the business. So, thank you, of course, for sharing.
Well, Jennifer, it was a pleasure.
So, I also encourage all of you who are watching to save this show and come back, watch it again and again and again, because Michael really did have some great insights around business practices. And who knows, you may have to give him a call one day for that M&A or whatever. Just reach out. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. And again, thanks to everyone who has joined us, and a special thank you to Michael Phillips, because we really appreciate you taking the time, encouraging us, enlightening us, and being with us. So we really appreciate it.
Been a pleasure.